At the very bottom of the Earth, there is a place unlike any other, a land of ice and silence, a continent so vast it could swallow Europe and the United States combined, a place where the winds howl like banshees, where mountains vanish beneath glaciers, and where the sun itself disappears for months at a time. It is the coldest, driest, and most mysterious place on the planet, a place no one truly owns. And yet, everyone wants it. Antarctica, the last frontier on Earth. A frozen kingdom cloaked in secrecy, guarded by storms, and ruled by silence. But behind that silence lies a question that has haunted explorers, scientists, and governments for more than a century. Who really controls the frozen continent? And what secrets still sleep beneath the ice? The year was 1820. For centuries, Antarctica had been a rumor, a myth at the edge of maps. But then, sailors caught sight of a vast frozen land. It was barren, it was brutal, and yet it was real. Soon after, the race began. Nations hurried to stake their claims. Britain, Argentina, Chile, France, Norway, Australia, New Zealand. Each one drew invisible borders across the endless white, slices of a cake no one had ever tasted, lines scratched into a land that could not be conquered. There were no cities to capture, no armies to defeat, only storms, glaciers, and silence. And yet, these frozen lines mattered, because beneath the ice could be wealth beyond imagination. Coal, oil, minerals, untapped oceans rich with life, and perhaps secrets buried for millions of years. But there was one problem. Snow melts, and so does certainty. As the world descended into chaos during the Second World War, Antarctica became a stage for shadows. Whispers of German ships spotted in the south, rumors of hidden bases carved into glaciers, stories of submarines lurking beneath the frozen seas. Some of it was myth, some of it, perhaps not. Later, during the Cold War, the icy continent became more than a curiosity. It became a potential battleground. The United States, the Soviet Union, superpowers locked in rivalry. To them, Antarctica wasn't just snow and rock, it was a strategic prize. The perfect place for hidden outposts, missile sites, and nuclear tests far from the eyes of the world. Imagine it, a continent untouched by war, transformed into the coldest front line in history. The world stood on the brink of drawing battle lines, in the snow. But something unexpected happened. The world was divided, but in Antarctica, enemies became partners. The International Geophysical Year. For the first time, scientists from 12 nations worked side by side. They studied the glaciers, the oceans, the auroras, and the winds, the very heartbeat of the planet, locked inside the ice. Here, in the most hostile place on Earth, politics melted away. The only war was against the cold. For one fragile year, Antarctica became a sanctuary of cooperation, proof that peace was possible, if only for a moment, and this fragile peace would change history. In December 1959, representatives from 12 nations gathered in Washington, D.C., the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, France, Chile, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, Belgium, Japan, South Africa. Together, they signed one of the most unusual agreements in history, the Antarctic Treaty. It declared Antarctica a continent of peace. No weapons, no war, no new territorial claims. And perhaps most extraordinary of all, any country could inspect any station at any time without warning. In a world drowning in secrecy, Antarctica became transparent. Science instead of conflict, peace instead of power. It was a pact of silence, a contract written in ice. But treaties are fragile, and ice does not last forever. So the question lingers. What happens if one nation breaks the pact? Today, 54 countries are part of the treaty, but not all have equal power. Only 29 hold consultative status. Only they can vote on decisions. And decisions are not made by majority, but by consensus. Every nation must agree. One single no is enough to silence the rest. 54 voices, 29 votes, a system of cooperation, or perhaps a frozen stalemate. Meanwhile, the old claims remain. Britain's slice, Argentina and Chile overlapping, Australia's massive wedge, and in the shadows, new powers grow stronger. China, Russia, expanding their presence, building larger stations, preparing for a future where the treaty may no longer hold. On paper, no one owns Antarctica. In reality, everyone is waiting for the ice to crack. Antarctica is not just ice. It is a vault, a time capsule. Beneath kilometers of glaciers lies Lake Vostok, sealed away for over 15 million years. Its waters have never touched the surface, completely isolated. What lives there? What secrets sleep in the dark? Other hidden lakes stretch across the continent, untouched, unknown. Scientists believe they could harbor life forms unlike anything we have ever seen. Creatures adapted to pressure, to darkness, to silence. But science is not the only voice in this frozen land. There are myths, stories of ancient civilizations entombed in ice, legends of strange structures buried deep beneath the glaciers, whispers of lights in the sky, of aircraft that vanish without a trace. Most dismiss them as fantasy, but in a place as vast and unexplored as Antarctica, who can truly say? What we know for certain is this: the ice is melting, and as it retreats, the vault begins to open. Every crack is a secret escaping, every iceberg a message from the deep. For now, the treaty still holds. The silence remains unbroken, but pressures are rising. Tourism grows each year. Fishing fleets push further south. Research stations expand, some suspiciously fortified, looking less like labs and more like bases. And the ice itself is dying. Antarctica holds enough frozen water to raise sea levels by more than 50 meters. If it collapses, the world will drown. Cities will vanish. Nations will crumble. The question is no longer only who owns Antarctica. It is whether Antarctica will survive us. And if it doesn't, who will fight for what remains? So, who owns Antarctica? The truth is chilling. No one. And yet, everyone. It belongs to science, to peace, to a fragile pact written more than 60 years ago. But treaties are made by men, and men are fragile. One day, the frozen continent will reveal what it has kept hidden for millennia. Secrets of life, secrets of death, secrets that could change everything we know about this planet. And when that day comes, when the ice melts, when the vault opens, who will claim what is left behind? If you enjoyed uncovering the mysteries of the frozen continent, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me next time as we explore the hidden stories that shape our world.